It's time for the Trading Stocks Made Easy podcast. Each week, Trading Stocks Made Easy demystifies stock trading and investing so you can profit big. And now, here's the host of Trading Stocks Made Easy, the wealthy investor, Tyrone Jackson.
Hey, it's Tyrone Jackson. Welcome back to another episode of Trading Stocks Made Easy, episode 191. Do you know what today's show's all about? Owning stocks that are leaders. Now, how do we say that in the title? We weren't really sure. So we called this episode Adapting and Changing. Did you know that stocks that were leading the market 40 years ago may have come down off their glory and not be riding high today? Well, the reason for that is pretty simple. Change is constant in our world, and we all know how fast technology is changing everything right now. Therefore, the leaders in their fields, the companies that you want to invest in, are constantly rotating, right? So that means that you have to be the kind of investor or the kind of stock market trader that adapts over time. Because the leaders that will lead the market 4 years from now, guess what? Some of those companies aren't even public right now. And that's one of the big secrets about trading and investing that no one ever really shares with you, is that the marketplace is always changing. All right. So if you've ever studied any of my material for the last 2, 3, or 5 years, you know I talk to you an awful lot about your mindset, your belief system. And one of the things that I say to you constantly is don't be negative, because negativity, fear, and doubt drive money away from you. Instead, I always ask you to keep an open mind. And so many of you, when I see you in airports or at restaurants, or you come to one of my events, you go, I've made so much money, and you've changed my perspective about how to think about money and wealth. Right, because negative thoughts sabotage your money and they sabotage your life. Your expectations, what you think should happen in life, is also a dream killer. So I know someone who's in a relationship right now with a woman that he loves dearly, and she loves him, but life has gotten kind of hard for them, particularly on the financial side. Thank goodness it looks like they're coming out of it. His lady once said to him, "You have ruined my life when I married you." Could you imagine that? Well, why would she say that? In part because of her expectations. She thought she was going to be filthy rich, and she'd have no problems, and they'd be traveling all the time, and there'd be no cable bill or, childcare issues or earaches. She expected something different. And it's our expectations that very often determine our outcome. So if you've been actively trading in the stock market for the last 6 months, and you're a covered call writer, and you're not earning what you were earning, let's say, a year ago, you may feel defeated right now. Why? Because what's going on in our market right now? Well, we're still in the middle of this sort of kind of correction that went on when the Federal Reserve decided they were going to do it. They were going to raise interest rates to slow down the growth in the economy. The stock market pulled back. Stocks that didn't pay a dividend dropped, and those that paid a dividend also dropped, but they're kind of holding their own. So what does that mean? You may be holding some stocks right now at a higher price than where it is right now. Right? So you're either going to have to learn to, one, employ another strategy. For those of us who know how to make money when stocks drop, it's just another day at the office. For those of you who only know how to trade stocks when the market is rising, this is a teachable moment, as Oprah would say, right? So really, if you think about it, your job is to be able to generate income, whether stocks go up, go down, or stay the same. And preferably, how about this as a goal? You want to make the same amount of income when the market is rising, meaning bullish, and when the market is pulling back, meaning bearish. So imagine if you started to master the wealthy investor approach to the market, and you were used to, let's say, an easy $10,000 a month between dividends, volatility, and covered call writing, and all of a sudden that $10,000 a month is gone. What would you do? And it's gone because the market is actually pulling back. What would you do? Well, you'd be stuck if you didn't have a complete financial education and you learned how to use spreads, for example, as your primary income generator when the market was down. You have to be willing to adapt and change in life because life changes. And if you want to constantly be moving forward, you have to adjust your mindset, your beliefs, and what? Your expectations. Now, this is the cool thing when you have an open mind is anything and everything is possible, and anything and everything is easy once you know how to do it. So for some of you who are covered call writing, holding your dividend-paying stocks, and doing all the quote-unquote right things, this market is a challenge because you're going to need another set of skills. But that's what keeps you moving forward in life, the idea that you adapt, you change, you accept your homework assignment from the universe, and you say, I'm going to learn something else. And how can I make money when stocks go down in this particular case? If you don't adapt and change, your negative thoughts will eat you alive and end this wonderful revenue stream that you've learned from me here in the Wealthy Investor Program. Don't allow yourself to be negative and eaten alive. Why? There's still a lot of money to be earned, even under today's market conditions. So, let me help you out because part of financial success is planning. And what I find is a lot of people want to be rich, but they don't have a plan. I'm going to talk to you about three stocks right now. Now, I'm not telling you to run out and get shares in these companies. I'm just going to share with you the reason that I like these three companies. They have stood the test of time, meaning the last 5 to 10 years, and they are the leaders in their field. So listen carefully so that you learn how to choose stocks well because there's a methodology and an approach here that'll work. The first stock I want to talk about is Amazon.com, AMZN. Now, you remember they just came off that big 20-for-1 stock split. But if we look at these numbers on a split-adjusted basis, look at the tremendous opportunity that are here if you were just willing to hold these stocks for 5 years ago. Or let me rephrase that. If you had held these stocks 5 years ago. So Amazon.com, it's a leader in their field, right? Where are they dominant? Well, we all know essentially they're the Walmart to the entire world. So not only are they great at getting products to us very quickly in a highly automated way, they're also the leader in cloud storage for businesses and personal. So, a lot of the businesses that you see that have a strong online presence, guess who backs them? Guess who hosts their website, their functionality? Amazon. So their cloud division is growing exponentially in terms of services and also the revenue that generates. So what does that mean? That means over time, if the revenue's there, the stock's going to rise, right? So look at a 5-year chart of Amazon and you'll realize that 5 years ago, just 5 years ago, on a split-adjusted basis, these shares were trading at $52 as of the time that I'm in the studio recording the show. $52. Right now, where are those shares? At $129. Have the shares gone up 100% in 5 years? Of course they have, because $52 twice is what? $104. They're at $129. So these shares tend to outperform the broader market in part due to this company's leadership. And when that top line revenue keeps growing exponentially, Wall Street will create demand for the stock. So Amazon is not just a name that you recognize, it's a leader in its field. Do you get it? But it doesn't mean it'll be a leader tomorrow, but it has been a leader in its field for at least the last decade. Now, if you're investing, you don't do anything but buy more shares as they rise. Where the sabotage comes in, if this is a stock that you're trading. So, for example, Amazon post-split has been as high as around $159. If you bought the shares at $159, they're at $129. Obviously, you're underwater in the short term. This is where covered calls come in because they allow you to sell rights to the shares at a higher price. Now, you may have to go out 30 days to start generating income off your Amazon shares, but this is why I love covered calls, because there's always income to be generated from shares, even if you brought them at a higher price. Your job is to get that trading education so you can always spot that money that's so obviously out there for those of us who have the experience to identify covered calls on stocks that are leaders. So if you're an investor and these shares drop $20, don't worry about it. You have time. Just watch the company's earnings, and you should do very, very well in the next 2 to 5 years. We're talking today about this idea of not defeating yourself, not being negative when your expectations aren't met. It just means what? There's something else for you to learn. Back in a moment.
Want to increase your stock market trading profits? Then you need to start your monthly membership to WITradeschool.com right now. Don't understand how to write covered calls for monthly income? No problem. Simply review Tyrone's latest stock trades in our video library as many times as you need. WITradeschool.com is all about helping you get the financial education you need to earn money in the stock market and change your financial life. Tyrone Jackson, the wealthy investor, has helped his students earn thousands of dollars per month trading stocks online from home. These are people just like you. So what are you waiting for? Follow Tyrone Jackson's red-hot stock trades and investment strategies today. Don't wait. Start your monthly membership at WITradeschool.com right now.
And welcome back. Hey, listen, if you haven't been to the wealthyinvestor.net lately, we just updated the free ebook with some of the stocks and the stories that I like. Do yourself a favor, download it today and start to get that financial education. You're not going to be rich just from listening to the show. Obviously, you have to take action if this is something that appeals to you. Now, a lot of people say, I haven't opened a brokerage account, but man, when you talk about the stock market, I really enjoy it. And I really understand that there's money and wealth to be made. Yes, well, let me tell you about the next 2 to 5 years. They are going to be extraordinary because we've seen an explosion in the app world. Now, all the advertisers want to get on our phones as well as television. Somebody's going to invent something in the next 2 to 5 years, take that company public, and that publicly traded company is going to be a leader in its field. Don't adapt a negative attitude. Even if you've lost money on a few of your favorite stocks, don't get pulled out of this game because there's still running room for those of us who are trying to make $1 million, $2, $3, $4, $5 million more. All this technology is driving innovation. It is your job to be a part of it. So we're talking about leaders in our field adapting and changes. So we're going to talk about another member of the Dow Jones Industrial Average and the S&P 500. Again, I'm not telling you to go out and buy shares of these companies, right? But at least do the research and see if you like the stock and the story. The second stock I'm going to talk to you about is MSFT Microsoft, a leader in its field. Now, I'm a little older, so I got to tell you what I actually know. I remember when Microsoft actually went public as a software company. Today, they're one of the leaders in what? The cloud. In other words, they're Amazon.com's chief competition. 5 years ago, those shares of Microsoft were trading at $84 a share. Where are they right now? Right now, at the time of this recording, they're at $257. After all the ups and downs and gyration and all the things that have gone on in the world over the last 5 years, have these shares doubled? They've more than doubled. More than doubled. Why? There's so much money to be made in the stock market if you stay with the leaders. Does Microsoft have top-line revenue growth? Yes. Does it have a dividend that expands? Yes. Are institutions attracted to it? Yes. Is its cloud services business growing? Yes. Along with its gaming division, right? As well as its software enterprise business, meaning the software they're selling to businesses, not just consumers. Hey, listen, don't buy the stock if you don't understand the story. Gang, it's not that hard to do well in the stock market if you understand that your chief responsibility right now, even if you don't have a lot of money, is to get some shares of the leaders in their field. What throws people off when they first get introduced to the stock market or in their first or second year of trading is they want to get a stock at $12 that they think is going to $257, and that's very, very difficult. So if you're one of these people that likes choosing penny stocks, you're basically gambling. Now, there's nothing wrong with that if you want to gamble your money away. But, in the stock market, our job is to manage risk, right? So our risk is lower if we stay with the leaders. And finally, the third stock I want to talk to you about is your sweetheart, the love of your life, or as I like to say, your soulmate, which is ticker symbol, you ready? AAPL, Apple, the love of your life, the stock that can do no wrong, the stock that 5 years ago was trading on a split-adjusted basis at $42 a share and right now is up to $155 and going higher. Your soulmate. Now, a lot of you like Apple stock simply because you're familiar with the products and you don't really realize what's going on behind the scenes, but that's fine. Yes, they have Apple TV, but Apple is really in the hardware and software business, and they've created their own cloud through video storage. Right? So I tell this story all the time. I have 4 computers because I live in multiple cities. And whenever I log in, they're like, hey, you only have 16.8 gigabytes of space left. If you, Tyrone Jackson, want to continue taking photos and 4K videos, you probably should upgrade that space. Now, to be honest with you, I really don't know how much space I have, but they keep telling me for $4.99 a month, I'll have more than enough space. Apple has created not only its own ecosystem, but in effect, its own cloud targeted towards the consumer. And if they keep charging us more and more and more, if you think about it, they're really in the cloud business with Amazon and Microsoft, the storage business, right? Okay. Now, recently they released a press release that said they're going to start a payment plan so you can upgrade your iPhone every single year and get the latest, greatest. They have billions of followers. If 500 million people take them up on this offer to upgrade their phones every single year, that is more revenue. What do you think is going to happen to the stock? So since the leaders here, and there's like 17 other leaders in different sectors, today I just wanted to touch upon these 3. If these stocks have all gone up 100% in the last 5 years, history is no guarantee of the future, but these are the companies that are acquiring other companies. They want to maintain their leadership position. What is that telling you? That sometimes as a trader, you have to be patient because these stocks go up and down in price. But as an investor, just take a longer-term view and you will win. How many times have I said on this show, you have the power to change your entire financial life? It doesn't mean you're going to start with $1 million. You start with $500, $5,000, $11,000. Just learn how to date stocks that are the leader in their field, and over time, you will do very well for yourself. I want to say one other thing. We're in a fantastic time right now. This podcast, Trading Stocks Made Easy with yours truly, Tyrone Jackson, is heard all over the world. People listen to the show all over the world. 45 years ago, there was maybe 1 or 2 sources for getting information and education about how to be successful in the stock market. How fortunate are you that you and I have met, that you download the show every single week and you get a financial education. Your job is to always move forward, and in this particular case, learn how to make money when the market goes up, goes down, or stays the same. Today is a day for you to be very, very, very excited because while stocks have pulled back, guess what? You can buy some of them right now so that when they race forward in the future, you caught them on sale. Congratulations. You're a very lucky person, and so am I. I'm lucky to have you with me every single week, and I'll see you where? Right here next week on the next Trading Stocks Made Easy podcast. Be sure to share this podcast on social media, your social media. You're a powerful influencer and people listen to you. Thanks for spending some time with me. This is Tyrone Jackson, the Wealthy Investor, saying, I'll see you next week. Bye-bye now.
You've been listening to the Trading Stocks Made Easy podcast. Be sure to rate and review our show on iTunes. While you're on iTunes, be sure to click the subscribe button and you'll automatically receive our next episode.